Lionel Messi missing 4 regular season games already for Inter Miami.
It's something. It is something. I'm not going to deny the fact that it's something that is concerning. It's something that I imagine Tata Martino and his staff would have probably suspected could potentially happen. Lionel Messi has a whole lot of miles in those legs. And at some point, these things begin to show up. The MLS season, as you know, said, is not very forgiving. And it's only going to get tougher as you get into the summer months. And it's only going to get hotter in Miami and everywhere else, for that matter, but particularly in Miami. And so you begin to wonder, how are those legs going to recover? And what is realistic for Lionel Messi in terms of playing Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, if indeed that's what's required from him? And what is realistic to expect from him if he ends up going to Copa America with Argentina, which is what we all suspect? Which also tells me that maybe, just maybe, he is taking care of himself, looking ahead to that, to Copa America, to be at his best and the best fitness possible going into that tournament. What does that mean for Inter Miami? I imagine that what that means is that if he has to sacrifice a game, it's going to be an Inter Miami game. It won't be an Argentina game in Copa America. And so it's something. I don't think we can ignore it. And it's a significant number of matches that he has missed already. And it makes a difference, obviously. It doesn't, the cutting edge analysis here. When Lionel Messi is on the field, Luis Suarez is a better player. Sergio Busquets is a better player. Inter Miami is a better team. Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. And when he's not, then there's some limitations to some of the things they can do in the attack.
I mean, it's got to be everything from, like, the off-field perspective, right? Because we see what happens in Fort Lauderdale when Inter Miami plays these games. Even when he's in the game, if he gets subbed out, people leave the stadium, right? And that's not fans of other teams in theory. Those are Inter Miami fans, and they don't even stick around when he's not there. So if you're not going to take him to these MLS games, you know, you're losing that opportunity in these major markets. And if you're a fan who's, you know, paid the ticket ahead of time, you're obviously very disappointed. From a competitive standpoint, though, Ale, I got to say it's kind of nothing. And that's not to say that Lionel Messi isn't a massive factor for Inter Miami, but it's to question really the value of the MLS regular season. With everything else going on, Leagues Cup, CONCACAF Champions Cup, which we know is coming up this week. There's just so many other things that I think are more important, not just to Inter Miami, but probably to Lionel Messi as well. They don't need to win the MLS regular season. There's no real prize for that. Nobody really cares about the Supporter Shield. They're going to slide their way into the playoff. And so I don't think it's really that big a deal. Where you kind of get into it is, what do you do if you're Tata Martino? What do you do if you're the other guys? Because you basically, Ale, you have 2 teams here, right? You're fighting 2 teams. What your team looks like with Lionel Messi, and then how do you survive without him? And yeah, they got through this past weekend 1-1 against New York City. But go back the weekend before. He wasn't there, man. And they got absolutely hammered by the New York Red Bulls. So there are some instances here. You can go back to the loss against Montreal as well about a month and a half ago, where Inter Miami doesn't just, you know, not win without Lionel Messi, but Ale, they like genuinely look bad.
Yeah, and the reason I don't say everything is because actually it's to solidify your point about the importance or lack thereof of the regular season. So that's why, and I can only attest to what happens on the field. Off the field, I think the impact of Lionel Messi goes beyond the metrics and whatever that we can explain here in this show. It's also a byproduct of MLS and Inter Miami building everything on the Lionel Messi stage. So if he's not on the stage, then all of those things kind of lose value and lose credibility. You're building everything around Lionel Messi, people are going to come and watch Lionel Messi. If Lionel Messi is not there, then people are not watching. And that's sort of the dynamics that you have built when you have said it's the Messi show and everybody else is just a sideshow. In terms of what happens on the field, it's not everything. Yeah, because you have to imagine that eventually Inter Miami will get just enough points to certainly make it into the playoff and be a factor in the playoff. And so if you're Tata Martino, you know this league well, you kind of go, all right, what do we sacrifice? And that's what I was sort of alluding to earlier. What's really important to Inter Miami? Is it CONCACAF Champions Cup? Is it Leagues Cup? What is it that they're really focusing on, and what's important? What is the shortest path to a trophy as well, which is something that you can sell if you're Inter Miami. If we're talking about one-offs, Lionel Messi being healthy for the one-offs is far more convenient than Lionel Messi being healthy for a long stretch of games in MLS. Honestly, these are decisions that Inter Miami are going to have to make as a club, but more importantly, that Tata Martino is going to have to make as a coach with his staff and with Lionel Messi, because I imagine that no decision is made without Messi's input. And so, hey, how are you feeling? What can you do? You want to play today? You want to play tomorrow? What do you prefer? He's reached that level in his career where he's making those decisions alongside the coach, in this case, Tata Martino, and Messi is very much part of those decisions. When we talk about coaches' decisions in Inter Miami, yeah, it's coach's decision, but Messi's right there.